ordered one of the pieces myself. You can now see a really ugly picture of me modelling it as best I possibly can.
Hello everyone, sorry you might have heard me clapping along in the background to that jazzy music. I forgot I wasn't on mute, but good evening. Hello to the early birds, Niall and Pete already in the chat. You're very welcome. And it is nearly that time. Arsenal's football drought is nearly over. Like elephants plodding through a dry plain, we are nearly at the Arsenal football watering hole, ready to replenish ourselves with the beautiful gift that is Premier League football. So to start with, did you know that Arteta has never actually won at the Nottingham Forest City ground? And would you like to hear all about Nuno's tactics that he's employed at Nottingham Forest? We're also going to go into the starting 11, which I believe would beat Nuno's Nottingham Forest and end the bogey ground that is Nottingham Forest City ground for Arteta. So we're going to look at which starting 11 I think would be best. And also we're going to talk about Arteta's contract, which is rumoured to happen. So yeah, it is the Matt Turner derby on Tuesday, and we're going to do a look ahead already because I just can't wait. You know, it's like Christmas. It's like 3 more sleeps to go. In fact, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It is. It's 3 more sleeps to go, and then it is our big match away at Nottingham Forest, Arteta's bogey ground, and I'm so excited. So we're going to get into it all today. So let's actually just get straight into it. That's enough of the waffle, and we're going to talk about this Nottingham Forest match. So on your way in, please do hit the likes. I would really appreciate that. We've got four subscribers away from 800k. 800k? I wish. No, we're 4 subscribers away from 800. The channel's growing really quickly recently. So I can't thank you all enough for engaging and showing up and just dropping in the chat. Even if you just say hello, then go, it all helps. So I really appreciate that. And I've been really looking forward to this stream. So yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. And also do subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hopefully by the end of tonight's show, we can get to 800 followers. So that'd be great. Let me just say hello to you early birds that are already in the chat. AB, hello, a new name saying hello in the chat. I like how literally you guys take the intro slide where it says, say hello in the chat. And I've had Pete say, hello, AB saying, hello. I appreciate it. The other day I told you guys to say yeehaw, and that was also very successful. So maybe we'll maybe I'll say like a different greeting every stream. It could be good day. So hello Pete to you. Hello Niall. Thank you for being here as always. Yes, I knew that. How many times have Arsenal won there? I'm going to get into the head-to-head, but I've looked at the head-to-head record since Arteta has been here. The longer head-to-head record since way back when. I haven't got on the presentation today, but I can find that out for you if you want, Jez. But big up, Jez, for being here. I really appreciate you joining. That curse will end on Tuesday, says Pete. I really hope so. But we're going to get into the nuts and bolts. I love quite a deep dive, like geeky preview of the stats and their tactics, our tactics, team news, starting 11s, all of that geeky stuff. going to get into it, so I can't wait. You're getting there, Fran. Thank you, Pete. Thank you. Rose, yeehaw. Big up, Fran. Hope everyone is well. Yes, I hope you're all well. Feel free to chat to each other in the chat. As I said, the drought is nearly over. We're nearly at game day. Arsenal are nearly playing again. It's almost felt like the summer to me, having one game this whole month, you know, and part of it is Arsenal's own silly fault for, being knocked out of not the Champions League yet, being knocked out of the FA Cup and the League Cup. As you know, it's FA Cup weekend this weekend. As Niall says, big up to Maidstone United, who I was listening to it on the radio over through Ipswich in a thriller this afternoon. And that's why I love the FA Cup, the underdog stories. And I was listening to their manager afterwards. It was a fantastic moment. And we're not even that far into the competition yet. So it's such a shame that Arsenal are not part of the competition, as I said, when we were knocked out, and it actually feels more painful now that we're seeing everyone else continue in the competition. But anyway, that's for another stream. But, you know, before I get into this preview, I just wanted to talk about how extremely important this game is for Arsenal. So we're coming off the back of that 5-0 victory over Crystal Palace, what seems like weeks ago now. And each game now will show us whether the second half of this season will in fact be better and more solid than the first, or whether that 5-0 defeat was just, you know, a one-off. So as I said, after the 5-0 victory, not defeat, I'm all over the place. I'm a bit coldy today, so my thoughts are a bit jumbled. Forgive me. But whether that 5-0 defeat was, again, 5-0 victory was a one-off or not, we need to use that 5-0 victory over Crystal Palace as a springboard to get better. And this is our last match before we play Liverpool. Is it the week after? We're going to look at our upcoming fixtures as well, the Premier League table, all of it. So just get right into the numbers. But yes, hopefully we need to improve off that Crystal Palace performance to really build a load of confidence before we get Liverpool come to us in that massive 6-pointer. So this is a huge precursor to that Liverpool game, and the boys really need to perform. So, right, let's get into it. We've done chat catch-up time. I thought I'd keep the chat cat with his hat, that's a tongue twister, on after the Cowboy stream, because I just think he looks real handsome like that. So, although we will do another quick chat catch-up time while you're here. So, Fran, huge congratulations on 796 subs. Thank you. I'm hoping we can get to 800 tonight. That will be so exciting. But thank you for keeping on top of the numbers, AJ. You rock. And Eros saying, yeehaw, 11 likes already. The like target, again, is 50 likes. We just about managed to get that last stream. So I honestly can't thank you guys enough for, you know, like playing into all this and helping me with the numbers and stuff. Bargav says, I'm going mental. Why are you going mental? Oh, because of the drought and no Arsenal. Honestly, it's so dull. Having said that, though, I've been watching a little bit of AFCON, been kind of picking up on the more exciting FA Cup games, been listening to that all day, but it's just not the same. It's sad when we're not in it, you know. 12 times in the league since 1904. Oh, okay. So we do have a history of, is that, I mean, that doesn't seem like a lot. I was going to say, like, that's not a lot, is it? It doesn't seem like we have a very good, so are they a bit more of a bogey team than the last few years? Jez, you tell me, are they like a longer standing bogey team than, like, since this manager has been here? I didn't realise that. In which case, that makes this match even more important. Gemma, hello, saying, Fran, I was going to ask you what do you do as a job apart from your art, if you don't mind. So I work with my sister who has started a gardening company, and I'm like one of her gardeners that she sends off to local jobs and stuff. That's what I do at the moment. But I've done like various things since I did music at uni, like popular music. So that's a whole other like life story thing. But yeah, I'm a gardener at the moment. Fran, did you hear about Rashford? Yes, actually, let's talk about that quickly. So there were rumours that he had been out and about, basically, and the rumours appear to have been confirmed by some pretty big sources, trustworthy sources, that he was out clubbing in Belfast Thursday night, and then called in sick to Friday morning training at Manchester United. I think this is last week or this week, maybe this week, maybe. Yeah, he was in Ireland clubbing when he had training back in England, I assume in Manchester the next morning. So it's terrible. He should be treated the same way that Sancho has been treated. So what Sancho did was way less severe than that. So, I mean, Rashford needs to be dropped from the team, in my opinion. And it's like that cannot fly. That cannot fly. I would be mortified if one of our players had done that. It just shows like the difference in where our club is at compared to Man U at the moment. It's crazy. Nuno Gargamel saying Nottingham Forest 4-0 to the Arsenal. I also think Newcastle will win the FA Cup. Yes, yeah. I was watching that Newcastle match earlier. I think it was 1-0 or 2-0 win. Fell asleep halfway through. Yeah, it'll be good for them. They've had a bit of a rocky season. Yeah, hello to all you chatters. I will catch up on the chat as and when we go, but let's get into the preview for the Forest game. So this is the Premier League table. It's super tiny. You might not be able to see all of it. But as you can see, Liverpool are sat at the top. Everyone's played 21 games apart from a few towards the bottom and then Man City. So Liverpool on 48 points and we're tied on points with Man City, who have a game in hand with 43. And if we scroll, then there's Aston Villa behind us, still again on 43. So all three of us really tight together. And then Spurs 3 points behind on 40. Let's keep them behind. Don't drop any stupid points, Arsenal. We're right up and amongst it. We are on the same number of points as Man City, but they have a game in hand, blah, blah, blah. You go all the way down and Nottingham Forest are 16th. So out of the relegation zone at the moment, which is massive for them. And we're going to go into it. But in fact, they've seen a huge upturn in their form since they sacked the beloved Steve Cooper for Nuno Espirito Santo, fresh from the Saudi League, Al Ittihad. He was sacked from there and has taken over at Nottingham Forest. And the early signs since he's taken over as head coach there have been really good. So we're playing Nottingham Forest with newfound confidence rather than the Nottingham Forest that had become a bit rudderless under Steve Cooper. So yeah, it's a big match. They're no team to be messed around with. It's no joke. And we're going to get into all of it. Darren's got a good joke here saying Marcus on the Lashford. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Keep it up with the dad jokes. I thought you were a teacher, said Gemma. Oh, I would not have the patience to be a teacher, but thank you. My mum's a teacher, so maybe it kind of shows. Don't forget, we've only played them in the league in the last 3 years. We didn't play them for 28 years in the league before that, as they were in the Championship and Div 2. Yes, that is very true. That is true, Jez. Greetings from San Francisco. You're in San Francisco, Bertie. Oh, yeah, you're going over there and you're hoping to watch a WrestleMania. Yes, I hope you still manage to do that. If the Spanish Solskjaer, Arteta, I assume, gets a new contract, my return to the UK will be full of rage. Hope you're well and congratulations to Maidstone. I hope you're well too. Thank you for tuning in all the way from San Francisco, Bertie. Yeah, I can imagine you will not be happy if Arteta does get a new contract. I've got a poll on my community page asking whether you think this new contract should happen. And I think tomorrow I might actually do a whole show dedicated to this, maybe bring on a couple of guests. So I won't go into it too much today, but my basic thoughts on it are, what are you doing? Wait until the end of the season. So that's my take. So Fulham, it was 2-0 Newcastle against Fulham in the FA Cup today. Right, Carl Rossi, hello, good evening. Yes, so that's the Premier League table as it currently stands. And these are Arsenal's upcoming fixtures. As I say, this is our last match really to practice whatever tactics or grow as much confidence as we can before we face Liverpool at home next Sunday, by the looks of it, if I do my maths correctly. And then we've got West Ham, Burnley, then that big first leg against Porto on February the 21st. So look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. At least we've got 5 matches across February. It's a really busy February. The drought is nearly over, guys. You've made it. Soon you can sip the sweet, sweet Arsenal juice. That sounds weird. But yes, first of all, big, huge fixture against Nottingham Forest. If we want any chance of having some confidence going into the game against Liverpool, we want to be flying high in form before that fixture. So Yeah, massive fixture. And what I always like looking at, how many points are you expecting in February. So in February, it needs to be 3 points against Liverpool, needs to be 3 points against West Ham, 3 points Burnley, win against Porto, and then 3 points Newcastle at home. I mean, what am I saying? There's no point even asking. We basically need to be winning every single game. We can't afford to be dropping stupid points anywhere. This now is when the run needs to start, when all this like tomfoolery needs to be over, when Arsenal need to get serious. From now on, we can't be dropping points, like full stop. Maybe 1 or 2 at some point, but we just can't be if we want, because we're competing against Liverpool and Man City. And really quickly we can drop out of that if we start to drop foolish points. So we need to be completely on it. This is now when our run needs to start. So let's hope that we can start that off with Nottingham Forest. So the form of both teams going into the clash on Tuesday. I thought I'd be really thorough today and just recap both of our whole seasons. With Forest, it's quite interesting because so they've signed over 40 players since they were promoted last year, and they managed to stay up in the league coming into this season. But they've signed over 40 players. They're probably in FFP trouble. And now Steve Cooper's gone, but basically it's all been a bit chaotic, which you can see. These are the results that happened before Steve Cooper did in fact get the sack, and you can see all the red results in there, the orange results in there. They only had 3 wins between 12th of August, which was their first game, which they lost 2-1 to us, all the way to 2nd of December. They only had 3 wins, although some of that was in the League Cup, which they dropped out of in the first round. Really rocky start to the season. However, they did in fact beat Villa 2-0 when Cooper was in charge. They also beat Chelsea 1-0, and they beat Sheffield United, which isn't too much of an achievement. And then we see on this next page here, they had a massive 5-0 loss to Forest, drew against Wolves, then lost 2-0 to Spurs. And at that point, Steve Cooper is replaced by Nuno Espirito Santo. And then you'll see in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 games, some of them League Cup, some of them Prem. In the Prem, yeah, they've had 3 more. They've had 3 wins, which is the same as the whole season prior to that. You can just see from this little graphic here, since Nuno has taken like the helm at Forest, they lost 2-3 to Bournemouth. Then they beat Newcastle 1-3, which was huge. They hit them on the break, and we're going to talk about the tactics that Nuno is employing there. Then they beat Manchester United like the following week. So they've beaten Newcastle, they've beaten Manchester United. There's no way, after looking at that we can be complacent going into this at all. Then in the FA Cup, they drew to Blackpool. They beat Blackpool in the second leg there. Then they lost 3-2 to Brentford. So they're quite high scoring, guys. They've scored 2 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals in all of these matches, and then 2 goals against Brentford. And then most recently this week, it was a 0-0 ball draw against Bristol City. But you can see suddenly they've really started to find goals, typically quite high scoring. And yeah, their results have really turned around. And what Nuno has done is employed just a really exciting form of counter-attacking style football. And it's going to be a real challenge for us to go up against that. We're going to talk about the best way that Arsenal can possibly line up. In terms of Arsenal season, you guys, most of you here are Arsenal fans. It's a lot prettier reading if you look at all those green results, but still nowhere near the results that we want it to be. But look, our last few matches, as you guys know, it's horrible to look at. Lots of red. So we'll go from, we lost to Villa, drew to PSV, lovely game, 2-0 win against Brighton. Then it was 1-1 draw against Liverpool, 2-0 loss against West Ham, horrible 2-1 loss against Fulham, 2-0 loss against Liverpool in the FA Cup. And then most recently, after our winter break, 5-0 win against Palace. So horrible form, potentially has only just turned round against Palace, but we need to build on that. So look, we're against a resurgent Nottingham Forest and shakily playing a bit better Arsenal. And look, as I said, they've beaten Newcastle, they've beaten Manchester United just in the last few games. So in no way are they to be sniffed at. It's a really serious match, and it could definitely, as I say, be another banana skin. Here are, well, I was going to look at goal scorers, but head to head, look, since Arteta's been in charge, he has not won away from home, as it says in the thumbnail. So it seems to be a real bogey ground for him, a bit like Goodison Park was. Spurs away as well. Look, as Jez says, there hasn't been huge amounts of comparison because they've only just recently got up back into the Premier League, but a huge club with loads and loads and loads of history and heritage, as I'm sure Jez will know much better than me. They've been kind of sleeping giants. They're finally back in the Prem, and it seems that their ground still holds that kind of fortress feeling because Arteta has not managed to break the curse there. So we won at home in the League Cup in 2019, in the year that Arteta took charge. So that was September. I think he took charge in December. So Arteta wasn't actually there yet. So scrap that. But anyway, he faced them in the FA Cup away, and we got knocked out with a 1-0 loss. I remember that in 2022. Not good. Then a 5-0 win at home in the Prem in October 2022. Then when we went away to them last season in May, it was a horrible 1-0 loss. Away to them in the Prem. Again, away in the Prem, we can't seem to get the job done against them. But at home, then we beat them really well this season, 2-1 win in our first game of the season. So it's really not been a happy hunting ground, the City ground for Arteta. And he's gonna have to achieve something that he's never achieved yet, which is go there and get the 3 points. Or else, yeah, things are not looking good at all. All the unrest in our fan base is just going to get 10 times worse, especially leading into that Anfield game. I can't describe how important it is that we get the 3 points. Not Anfield game, sorry, before Liverpool will come and face Arsenal. So last season, I don't know if you remember when we lost to them, it was in kind of the run-in when we were bottling the league, basically. It was mid-league bottle. So we drew against Liverpool in April, then we drew 2-2 against West Ham, then we drew against Southampton, at that point basically bottling the league. Then Man City crushed us under their toe like a little bug insect, 4-1. And look away, guys, I know you won't want to remember this time, but then Manchester City sealed the deal and crushed us 4-1. We then beat Chelsea 3-1. Newcastle then beat us 2-0. Then we lost 3-0 to Brighton. Then we lost 1-0 away to Nottingham Forest, which was our penultimate match of the season before we then it was no pressure FC and we beat Wolves 5-0, the final home game of the season. New kit, woo, all of that. So yeah, they were part of our horrible downfall last year. I'm sure the players have horrible memories of going there. And it won't just be a simple fact of going there and getting the job done. This was super painful for the players when they went there and lost that match in January, February, March, April, May last year. You know, Nottingham Forest was one of those grounds that really dug it into us when we bottled the league. So there's history there, even with this young group of players who haven't been there a lot. It will hurt. It will hurt going there. So looking at their players compared to ours, their top goal scorer is Chris Wood, who's on 8 goals. Then they've got Taiwo Awoniyi. I love that name. And basically, one interesting fact is that Awoniyi is the person who, when we've gone to the City ground, has scored both goals in our 1-0 defeats in Arteta's time. So Awoniyi is the goal scorer that has, caused Arsenal's downfall when we've gone to play there. It seems like when we go to their ground, it's his day to shine. So we've got to watch out for him. I presume he's fit. I haven't seen any news to suggest otherwise. I might give it a Google, though, just to make sure. Sorry, guys, I've got a bit of a cold. So let's have a look. Oh, he might be out, actually. So Forest remain. Right, guys, he has actually got a groin injury, but he's progressing. He's already training on the pitch. Hopefully in 2 weeks' time. Okay, so Taiwo Awoniyi, this is good news, not for him, but for us, is actually recovering from groin surgery. So we don't have to worry about him too much. That's good. That's good news. And other players that they've got out as of before they played yesterday's game. Morgan Gibbs-White, who should be out a bit longer. Elanga, he's quite a dangerous player for them as well. So I don't know though. I'll have to double check that in a minute though. But anyway, let's see what some of you guys are saying before we look at recap Arsenal's goal scorers. So I can't wait for the combination of Partey, Odegaard, and Rice. Play POC era. Sorry, what does that mean? I'm sorry if I sound really ignorant there. Guno Gargamel, that's not happening. It's at 2-1. What's up, AJ? Niall says, did you hear about the Port Vale fan who ran on the pitch against Portsmouth and punched the ref because he gave Portsmouth an 88th minute penalty today? No, I didn't hear about that, but that's disgusting. That shouldn't be allowed anywhere. No wonder refs just don't want to do this job. I hope he's banned for life. That's horrible, horrible behaviour. Why is this fraud Arteta getting a new contract? Arsenal is finished as a football club. Real talk, mate. Yeah. My take is just wait. Why are you doing it now? I completely agree. Don't give him a new contract until he's earned it. There seems to be no stakes. Like he's under no jeopardy, no threat. So we are nowhere near goalie. Don't be silly. And just because Marcus on the Lashford goes out for a night doesn't mean we're way ahead of Man United. Fair enough. Fair enough. Lost. Darren is predicting. I would never have imagined, Darren. I voted and commented on your community tab, friend. Thank you. Everyone be like Niall. The dog Snogger and Hudson-Odoi will be a danger down our right. Yes, yes, they will. Let's hope Ben White is on form. Forest will be on it Tuesday. The potential point deduction coupled with a new manager who demands fight will be a major issue for Arsenal. I completely agree, Carl. Hoping for a good birthday for once. When's your birthday, Bargav? I missed that. Forest and Liverpool games are a must-win to boost our confidence. Completely agree, Pete. Ozil skipped training and matches 6 years ago with us. Worse than Marcus for United. Yeah, but like things were not good 6 years ago. Like things like that, and the players like acting out like that were some of the reason why I suppose that there was like so much discord amongst the camp, I suppose. But I don't know. Ozil was class, of course. Liverpool. Callum, please make sense with your comments. This guy. Hit the likes. Thank you, Carl. Most Arsenal managers would get sacked on that form. Yes, yeah, they would. But Arteta's going nowhere at the moment, and I agree, it's not good enough. He's getting a new contract. CMO Sports, big up. Great stream I saw earlier. You talking about Klopp and everyone. Your viewing numbers are great, Connor. Big up to you too. Big up Connor every time, says AJ. Guys, thank you so much. 17 likes already. That atmosphere needs to improve massively. I completely agree. Guys, the chat is going mad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I can't read all of them out. Fran, you might want to try spiced tea for your cold. Yes, I will have to do that. Fran, if the rumours are true about Arteta having a new contract, we might as well liquidize this football club. Yeah, I absolutely don't think it should happen until the end of the season. Tomorrow, let's do a whole Arteta contract stream. How does that sound? But anyway, thank you so much for the comments. I'll try and get as many of them as I can. And next up, we're going to compare that with Arsenal's goal scorers. So Chris Wood is on 8. Bukayo Saka, our top goal scorer in the Prem, is only on 6. And then it's actually Eddie on 5. Kai, Gabriel and Leandro, and Odegaard on 4. These numbers are really poor, guys. And then Jesus, Gabriel Magalhaes, and a few of those guys a bit low down. But yeah, Chris Wood is on 2 more goals than Bukayo Saka. I think that shows just kind of how poor of a season Saka is having. And then their other threats, Awoniyi and Elanga, do appear to be out injured at the moment. So they are a little bit weakened, but Nuno, the way that he coaches, won't let that be an excuse for the team. And he'll expect them to come out and like battle for every single ball. So gonna go there and saying hello guys, sorry I'm late. Don't worry at all, don't worry at all. You can always watch on catch up. Anyone listening on catch up, thank you very much for being here. And the Mr. Arsenal podcast, good evening to you too. So yeah, we've spoken a little bit about our head-to-head form. The home fixture against them, our first game of the season. I don't actually remember too much about that game, but anyway, we beat them at home. And now, although Taiwo Awoniyi again scored, so yeah, he loves a goal against us, but I do think he is out injured. I need to double check though when that article was written. Yeah, 22nd of 5 days ago, Awoniyi, Elanga, Origi, those Awoniyi were out injured 5 days ago, so I assume they still are. But I'll go over like the press conferences and stuff as we get a bit closer to Tuesday's game day. So yeah, moving on. I thought it'd be quite interesting to look at the kind of tactics that Nuno Espirito Santo has employed as he's become head coach of Forest, and how Arsenal might be able to tackle them. But yeah, welcome into the building, unit gathering, Tayyib, Darren, Carl. Thank you so much, guys. Keep chatting away, and if you put any questions in the chat, then I'll answer them a little bit later. But I found quite an interesting article talking about, again, this is geek tactics time, guys. I hope you're into it. And if you're not, then come back for tomorrow's stream where I am planning to talk about Arteta. But anyway, so Sky wrote an article about how Nuno has helped Forest break loose, and it's actually quite interesting reading. So for once, for a Sky article. So let me just share the screen. And as I'm reading this out, think about how this might cause difficulties for Arsenal, and how we might be able to tackle it best. It's very, very interesting stuff. I love tactics. So credit to Sky Sports for this article. But this is talking about, yeah, Nuno's tactics. So let's get into it. Yes, get your popcorns out, get a cup of tea. We're going to talk some tactics. So, right, how Nuno has helped Forest break loose. Adrian Clark looks at key tactical points and players who can be decisive in match week 20. So, Nottingham's superb 3-1 victory at Newcastle United on Boxing Day was a counter-attacking masterclass inspired by their new head coach, Nuno. Starting wingers Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, who flanked their number 10 Gibbs White and striker Chris Wood in a 4-2-3-1 formation, Nuno signalled his attacking intent. Forest were prepared to take the risk of leaving a couple of players upfield when out of possession, which meant they always had an outlet whenever they turned over the ball. And from those quick transitions, guys, quick transitions, we're not very good at quick transitions. So make a note of that, their front, and think about for your starting 11, how would you combat these quick transitions? So from these quick transitions, their front four joined forces to rip apart Newcastle's back line. I don't like the sound of that, ripping apart Newcastle's back line. So let me know, make a note, quick transitions and Newcastle's back line. No, ripping apart the back line. That does not sound good, especially with Zinchenko being our only left back. Ripping apart, quick transition, no, that's a Zinchenko horror story right there. But anyway, after their win, which moved Forest up to 16th, 2 points clear of the relegation zone, Nuno said, "We knew they would press very high, and we knew that when the moment was there, we would spin and go." So Newcastle, because they pressed so high, Nuno was able to take advantage of that and rip them apart on the break. So he also said our plan was counter-attacking. It was all about transitions. We knew that if you beat Newcastle's press, you will have chances against them. So from this, I would hope that Mikel doesn't make us press way too high. And I will say this season, he has been a bit more wary of being hit on the break. Like our line is not quite so high. So hopefully we won't be overcommitting too many men forward, because that would be exactly what Nottingham Forest want. So look, more about their fabulous fast breaking style of play. They're talking about what they were doing beforehand. Actually, let's just read this bit out. So Forest had only executed 12 fast breaks all season prior to their win at St James's Park, where they produced 5 inside 90 minutes. 3 shots came from those counters, including the first 2 goals of Wood's impressive hat-trick. From a turnover deep inside their own half, with most Newcastle players ahead of the ball, Gibbs-White received a pass on the half-turn to spring a 4v4 that they ruthlessly finished. So that tells me any sloppy passes, Zinchenko mistakes, sloppy Raya balls, Nottingham Forest are going to pounce on that straight away, and half-turn, it's suddenly a 4v4, we're in trouble. So we need to be super careful not to be sloppy. I would rather just see us maintaining possession, rather than trying anything too ridiculous, too crazy, because that's exactly what they want. Forest want us to make mistakes so that they can spring and hit us on the counter. So Hudson-Odoi almost scored a second goal on the stroke of half-time. Okay, so they're talking about the 3-1 win over Newcastle. And it came from a move that typified Nuno's tactics. Forest cleared from defence to striker Wood, who knocked the ball down for Gibbs-White. And with both wingers flying forward to support on the outside, he released Hudson-Odoi to race upfield for a shot. Their quartet of forward players performed with this kind of energy and intelligence throughout the match. So they're well schooled on where to be when they do regain possession, and we have to be so careful. Wood's second strike also came from a devastating fast break. Ibrahim Sangare made a terrific interception on the edge of his own box. Before quickly beating the press with a pass to Elanga, he broke at pace before his wonderful long pass picked out Wood, who finished with poise. Blah, 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 blah. This is about them utilising ball carriers. So if you're going to set up to play on the break, you need quality ball carriers in your side, and Nuno's team selection was spot on in that sense. So Elanga, he's injured at the moment, but Hudson-Odoi is fit. Always wanted to run directly at their opponents. And guys, last match when Eze was running directly at Declan Rice, he was struggling a little bit. So if Hudson-Odoi is doing that, that could be somewhere where Declan Rice isn't quite so confident. I don't know. It's just this whole article for me is just screaming like threat, be careful. So yeah, they compete lots of dribbles, they run with the ball, they also aren't afraid to go long. They seek out their giant of a man, Chris Wood, who's like 8'5". They do long passes in behind. I think he scored a hat-trick against Newcastle. We've got to be careful with him, and he is fit. I'm not going to go through too many of these tactics and stuff, but what we can take from that is they are not afraid to run at you with the ball. They're not afraid to do long passes over the top. They will counter-attack, hit you on the break, and it's nothing to be sniffed at. They're really, really good. Callum, if I'm just seeing this guy, Callum, please can you, you're kind of spamming the chat right now, Callum. Might have to time you out soon because your comments are they don't make any sense. But thank you very much for watching anyway. Nuno's got Forest playing like his old Wolves team. This will not be easy. Yes, I agree. Nuno explained his philosophy to Sky Sports a few years ago. He said, when you attack, you have to have width. When you defend, you have to be compact. So this is the shape of the team when we are defending. That's exactly what you said, Darren. That the main idea to be is compact when we defend and achieve maximum width when we attack. So we have to be really careful. This is a game where our fullbacks, unfortunately, Ben White and Zinchenko, who are probably like the least in form, definitely the least in form in our defence, they're going to really be under pressure. And I wouldn't be surprised if Nuno sets up to really try and exploit Zinchenko's defensive weakness. Like, basically, this guy is no mug. He will plan to hit us fast, hit us quick, and it could definitely be the kind of game we've seen where we have tons and tons of possession, and then end up just getting hit on the break, but with a silly mistake, and then suddenly we're 1-0 down. We could have like 20 chances, not score any, and then suddenly we're 1-0 down. Because when we've played Forest before, when we lost away to them last season, we had 82% possession in that game, and yet we still lost 1-0. And again, when we played them, we had 79% possession when we beat them at home. So I expect us to have so much of the ball, and that's what they want. They'll be happy for us to have the ball. They're going to sit back. They're going to park the bus. And as you guys know, we really struggle breaking down teams who park the bus typically. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we set up and try and work that out, you know. Yeah, facts, Darren, says Carl. He has them fighting. Ensman, what's up? My favourite Liverpool channel, even though you like to wind us Arsenal fans up. Big up to you too. We have different opinions, makes it interesting. Yes, yes, yes. AFC always, that's really rude though. You can't say Posh Bertie is the real one, not you. That's so rude, AFC always. Come on. Hi, Fran. Hope you're going well. 2-0 Arsenal, says Anthony Herbert. 22 likes. Yeah, AFC always, like, calm. I'm gonna have to time you out. Don't insult other chatters, please. As much as I love having you in the chat, come on, be civil. So AJ saying 22 likes. Thank you so much, guys. So those were a bit about Forest's tactics. There wasn't too much team news that we don't already know. So Partey, actually, which we spoke about, might be on the bench, and it would be lovely to see him come on, just get a few minutes under his legs, hopefully as many minutes as possible without risking injury, so that he can hopefully play for the majority of our game against Liverpool. But if he's not fit enough, like, don't shoehorn him in there. I'd rather we stick with players that are ready to go, that are actually match fit, than bring on a really rusty Thomas Partey, if you know what I mean. So I don't think there's any new injury news regarding that, except that Partey will hopefully be on the bench. No one else has got injured, thankfully, in the last few days for Arsenal. As we said, Forest have a few of their key players out. Awoniyi, who loves to score against us, is out, which does give us a slight advantage. But yeah, they will be attacking and going for it anyway, so we can't like rely on the fact that they've got some injuries. Every team has injuries, you know. The only kind of recent news I found, apart from like random, what else was it? Eddie Nketiah did an interesting interview on this channel. Kai Havertz, it was just a nice Kai Havertz moment. You guys know I don't rate him, but this was just a reminder that these players, like, the amount of good that they can do in the community and stuff, even if he really annoys me on the pitch, it's nice to see him. He was meeting these two legends, as he said, over Christmas. He's with two children from Noah's Ark Hospice, and they experienced their first Arsenal game, and Kai's like calling them legends and posting about it. I just thought that was a nice thing to share. But apart from that, not much team news. And Anthony asked, what's your prediction of the game and goal scorers? Don't worry, we're getting there. We're getting to the starting 11s. And you guys, thinking about their counter-attacking style of play, they want to hit us on the break. Queue up your starting 11s before I get to mine very soon, and then we'll go on to what I think Arteta will play. So yeah, hopefully you're enjoying this preview, a little more numbers and things like that, but I like it. But now we're going to have a quick discussion with you guys that are still in the chat. What reasons make you feel optimistic that Arsenal could win? And I want to hear from you guys. I'll also tell you some of my ideas. So having looked at our head-to-head, our results against them, all of that stuff we've just been through, thank you for sitting through it. I know it's sometimes can be a little bit dry, but what reasons, chat, please put your ideas in. Would you be feeling hopeful that Arsenal could, in fact, go to Nottingham Forest and Arteta could get his first victory away at the City ground? I will wait. But I do have a few ideas. And after this, I'm going to ask you what reasons you have that Arsenal could lose. I said that would be a fun little game for us all to play together on this fun Saturday night. So, oh no, Anthony says, I did read that Gabriel and Rice might be injured. Did you? Oh no. Spencer is here as well. Good evening, Fran. So I'm going to talk about a few reasons why I would feel positive that Arsenal may win. Other club going to have the courtesy to explain where Partey has been, asks Darren. Injured on holiday. What a mess and a shambles. Yeah. I personally choose to kind of like take them at face value and that he has been injured, but I know there's loads of speculation about things that could be going on, like allegedly, like legal sense and stuff. And if any of that is true, then I want him out of my club immediately. I'm not even messing about with that. So I hope we get some clarity on all that soon, because if anything dodgy has been going on, then I want him out. Yeah. So reasons that Arsenal could win. All right, Gabriel and Rice. Yeah, I heard this. They were taken off versus Palace, but apparently the injuries were not seen to be too severe. I think Declan Rice felt something in his hammy. But I haven't heard any updates. I don't know about you guys. That's why I will do a reaction when we get Mikel's pre-match press conference. And it would be nice to hear. But he won't tell us anyway. I just have to presume that, yeah, they were fit. Because I don't think they went straight. Like, I think they were sat on the bench. It was kind of precautionary. So I think that we should have those guys, hopefully. Anyway, reasons that I would say Arsenal could possibly win is, first of all, our most recent fixture was a 5-0 win against Crystal Palace. So hopefully they'll have a bit more goal scoring confidence going forwards. Perhaps Partey being back, that could make us feel a bit more confident too. Also that they've had a nice long break before this game. We've only had one game this match, so that is a few reasons why I would expect us to, in fact, win. It looks like, most recently in our games, we've been getting lots and lots of chances. If we can carry on that, then, it's looking good. But that would, I'm not actually feeling very confident. Reasons Arsenal could lose now. First of all, we have never won with Arteta in charge at the City ground, so we'd have to break that curse. Secondly, their counter-attacking style of play is something that we could easily fall right into if we play like all-out attacking style and really high pressing, like we are sometimes known to do. Not so much this season, but yeah, those are kind of reasons that make me feel not so confident. But since I'm not feeling super well, we're just going to get into the starting 11s rather than having to think of all the different like scenarios and things like that. So get your starting 11s ready. AFC always saying top Gooners will never learn. I understand you feel that way, but like there's no need to attack them for it. Just because they're not going to listen to you, AFC always, if you just like call them names and stuff. So you just need to explain to them why rather than like be kind of so confrontational. That's what I think anyway. And the same for top Gooners who are really nasty to like Arteta outers, But anyway, I'm going to get into my starting 11 and explain why, if I was the manager, this is what I would play. So on the screen right now, you can see that I would have Raya at the back. He's first choice goalkeeper, like doesn't really need much explaining. Then I would have a back line of Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, and White. And you're probably thinking, Zinchenko, that could be like an absolute disaster. But really, he is the only choice at the moment, except for Kivior, who is not a left back. And you can argue that Zinchenko isn't, but he does have more experience playing as a dedicated left back in this team. And I was really discussing this with my boyfriend, going like, when we're playing against such a fast breaking team, like Zinchenko, when he's faced with like really quick ball carrying players, it just screams like a Zinchenko stinker and conceding goals type thing. But then my partner reminded me that this is a game where we will have like over 80% possession based on our last few games against them and the way that they like to play. And typically when we play against teams that like to sit on a low block, the advantages of having Zinchenko when we're in possession kind of outweigh the fact that maybe once or twice he might get into trouble being caught on the break. Because hopefully we will have so much possession and be able to stop those counter-attacking things by the best defense is like possession sometimes, just keeping hold of the ball. So hopefully my theory is that the benefit of having Zinchenko being able to play so many like little passes and linking up with the team and stuff and will outweigh him maybe being caught once or twice on the break that hopefully Gabriel or Rice can like mop up. So it's not ideal. Like if Tomiyasu or Timber were fit, I'd play them obviously, but he could be good in breaking down like a low team that are sat low and just are asking us to come break them down basically because he's really good at little intricate passes. Gabriel and Saliba, the dynamic duo. Of course, our amazing centre-back pairing, I would have them start. And then Ben White, again, really the only fit right back. He doesn't really have any backup apart from Cedric. So Ben White has to play. Tomiyasu could play there, but he's injured, as we know. So that is the back four, basically. And then in the centre, obviously Rice. And then it was kind of a toss-up whether we have Jorginho and Rice, or Rice and Havertz, or then Rice and ESR. But I thought this is the interesting part. Okay, so the left-hand side of the pitch, I want to have players that are technical and able to do lots of really intricate, like snappy passes, keep and control of the ball, interweave, like link up with each other, really linky, like techie players to keep hold of the ball and break down their low block. So I would have ESR. I think he's earned a start. He's played so much better than Havertz. That last 20 minutes where we saw him at Crystal Palace, he seems so much brighter than Havertz seemed the entire game. And yeah, I don't think this is a game for Havertz. It's a game for like more technical players that can break down a low block. And I think ESR, since he has had so few minutes, will, like, if we do get hit on the counter attack, will work his butt off basically to recover it, because he's in a stage where he needs to impress right now. So I don't think he would be like lazy or complacent off the ball as well. And Odegaard, of course, best choice for the number 10. Yeah. But then up front, this is the interesting thing. So first of all, I clearly thought like, oh, Martinelli and Saka on the wings and then Jesus up front. But then I thought, like, you know, if I'm the manager, actually, I don't want Martinelli playing in this game, because Martinelli, as we saw again in Crystal Palace, he plays so much better and is able to be his best self when he has space to run into. And in this game, we're not going to be playing like counter-attack. We're not going to be hitting them on the break really at all, because they're going to just be sat back parking the bus waiting to hit us on the break. So Martinelli would have no room. And as we've seen this season, Martinelli's form has been so poor because we've been playing against teams that have been sat back, parking the bus, and he has no space to run into. We've only seen him score a couple of goals last match because Crystal Palace had started to open up, and he had space to like sprint behind and run with a bit of space. But you won't have that in this game. So I thought, why not have Jesus on the wing? I've enjoyed seeing Jesus on the wing. You know, I think it was good. And imagine him linking up with ESR and Trossard up front, just being able to pass with Odegaard, ESR, Trossard, like unlock that whole like front row basically and left side of the pitch. Have him there instead of Martinelli, and you might actually be able to feed some balls into Trossard, who, as we've seen, is really, really composed when he's under a lot of pressure in the box. So then I would have Trossard up front. Because his main strength, and he even says this himself, is being able to stay really calm in the box. And he would be against like tons and tons of players all over him. But he's technical enough to be able to dodge out of that and get a shot away. And then of course Saka linking up with Odegaard on the right wing. That's what I would ideally do. Lots of technical players that will be able to break down their low block. And Trossard, who's got a bit more of a goal-scoring instinct, seems to actually care about scoring goals up front as opposed to Jesus. Jesus will be able to link up with him. Yeah, brother. What's up? Coming in the chat and saying, yeah, brother. I love that. It's a trademark for you. So here, let's see what you guys are saying. Fran, you're ruthless not starting Martinelli after 2 goals. Absolute savage. All right, James, what's up? Also saying Tomiyasu. Oh, I keep forgetting. Sorry. You can't blame me for saying Tomiyasu is injured. Most of the time, Tomiyasu is injured. But yeah, of course, he's away at the Asia Cup. But my brain just default goes to like, Tomiyasu's not available, so he must be injured. Thank you for reminding me, James. Thank you. But yeah, sorry, scrap that. Tomiyasu's not injured. He's playing for Japan, who are still in the Asia Cup. Laska saying, hey, Fran, don't have time to watch now, but I will rewatch the stream tomorrow. Thank you so much. I don't think I've seen you popping in the comments before, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, whenever you want to watch it, like, feel free. Thank you so much. So Darren, starting 11. I just want to respond before I look at the starting 11 to James. If you watch it, it's because we're going to be facing a low block, and that's not his strength. Plus, if they are losing and they have to come out, like in Crystal Palace, if Nottingham Forest do have to come out and try and attack us, if they're a goal or 2 down or something, that is the time to bring on Martinelli, the final 20 minutes of that match, when he'll have a bit more space and then he can be ruthless like he was against Palace. But before that, I think it's going to be a case of trying to unpick the lock. Yeah, I understand that, the Mr. Arsenal podcast. That does not surprise me that that's his favourite channel. Yeah, that whatever opinion you have, like, please just have like an open conversation about why you think that, and don't just insult and throw eggs at the other side, you know. It's very childish, very childish. So let's see, Darren, let's see what your starting 11 would be. Raya, Cedric. Oh, okay, you'd have Saka at left back. That's not even a bad shout, you know. Like, we know that he can play there, probably a bit more reliably than Zinchenko, you could argue. Cedric over Ben White. I don't know about that, mate, but he's there for a reason, isn't he? He needs to play at some point. So Darren would have Raya, Cedric, Gabriel, Saliba, and Saka in the back line. Then Saka, ESR, and Partey. Yeah, if Partey's fit, then he needs to play at some point, whether it's starting for a little bit or coming on. So you wouldn't have. Oh, so you would have ESR, Partey, and Rice. Yeah, I'd love to see that midfield. Trossard, Jesus, Martinelli, 4-3-3, Saka left back, Odegaard, Havertz sold in January along with a few others. You'd sell Odegaard. Interesting. I would sell Havertz, but I'm not sure about Odegaard. But yeah, I'd love to see that. This is the kind of rotation that would be really nice to see from Arteta. And I know that you know that he's so static with his lineups. And you'll see in the next slide, I'm going to do what I think Arteta will play. And basically, it's going to be unchanged. We're not going to see any of that fun stuff that you and I have suggested, Darren. So calling people top Gooners is lame, brother. Yeah, fair. Eros is saying, I smell an Eddie Nketiah start. Please no, please no. Hugo, what's up? Saying big up, Fran. I agree. ESR also makes those late runs in the box. True, true. Fran, you know that Arteta is going to shoehorn 29 in that starting lineup. I know it, brother. I know it, brother. Bro, Zinchenko sold in January. Havertz sold in January. This is what I'm getting frustrated with. Though. No one's getting sold. Yeah, it's ridiculous. 28 likes. Thank you. Callum. Okay. I don't know what to say. All right, so this is the lineup that I actually think that we will see. And look, as you can see, I've just copy and pasted the lineup from Palace. So that was Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, Jesus. But he might do Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, because I think the reason that Trossard started last time was because Martinelli had a slight knock or something. So that even is a little bit too risque. I imagine it will be Saka, Jesus, Martinelli. Like, any chance that Mikel can use his like preferred starting 11, then he will. And I worry there that Havertz will just not be on it enough, and will give the ball away, or perhaps give them too much space to run into. Like, it's not like it's good enough to get the job done, and I would expect that team to still beat them, but I think it could be a better lineup. I basically think, yeah, it will be an unchanged starting 11 basically until I hear otherwise. But anyway, let's hear your score predictions before I call it a day. I'm gonna go and melt because I feel so unwell. But score predictions, guys. For me, I think we will get hit on the counter. How many times? We should make a bingo counter for the amount of times I say hit on the counter. Hey, Alfie Brindle, what's up? New name in the chat saying Arteta out, Joey Barton in. No, absolutely no. Wait, Joey. So he is. No. Oh, he was most recently manager of League One side Bristol Rovers. No. Is he a manager at the moment? I don't know. I don't know too much about Joey Barton, sorry. Experimental jabs kicking in. No, I completely disagree with that. Keep it football, please. Keep it football. But welcome to the chat. So AJ saying, ultimately, this is what I will say. One trophy from possible 16. Where is the line for Arteta's job? Because 637 million spend already, had 26 signing in 4 years. It's deliver or leave. Yes, I do agree with that. Oh, Joey Barton is against. Wait, isn't he the one that's says all this horrible stuff about women's football and stuff? Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. yeah. Oh, yeah, no, he's horrible. Completely disagree there. But anyway, score predictions, guys. So for me, I reckon 2-1 to the Arsenal. I think hopefully we're going to continue on being actually able to score a goal, like we saw a little bit against Palace, but I do think that they are going to hit us on the break. But again, really easily, I can see us losing this 1 or 2-0. Yeah, it could really easily go the way of us having 90% of the ball, not being able to hit the back of the net, and then being hit on the break. And if that happens, I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. So that is the worry. You know, I actually think that could happen though. I might change my score. I shouldn't predict a loss though. But I am really worried. Yes, Brian. Thank you, Eros. Some mad comments tonight. I need to get some mods soon, honestly. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know your score predictions. Alfie saying, "Are you a lefty? Forest have beat us twice up. Forest." Just because I don't want to. Just because no one should be saying those comments against female footballers. I'm a female. Of course I'm going to think that. Man. Eros, yeah, I would let you be a mod. Yes. I need to work out how to do that, but you have my word. I would love that from you, like to help me out with some of this madness in the chat sometimes. But yeah, as I said, please do check out like Arsenal artwork and stuff. If you have not, that's at goalartzo.com. And thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm sorry I haven't been like completely myself. As I said, I got a horrible cold. So I'm like super tired and stuff. But hopefully you enjoyed that preview. And the plan is tomorrow, let's do a whole show about Arteta and the new contract and just fully dig into like the numbers and stuff like that, whether you feel like he should have one or not. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Road to 1K. Thank you very much again. Have a great evening. Yes, we will link up soon and get it sorted. Fran messaged Jez. He would definitely be able to explain how to mod people. Okay, I will do that. But yeah, thank you so much to you guys that are still here. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you, Callum, as well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.